Arinze reached for the buttons on his shirt, slowly unbuttoning them, his eyes never leaving hers. "You must be tired after such a long day," he said, his voice dripping with false concern. "Why don't you rest?" Zuri didn't reply. She simply watched as Arinze's hands moved, pulling off his shirt and revealing his bare chest. But something was different now. The air in the room seemed to shift, growing colder. Zuri could see a strange shimmering light beneath his skin. Something unnatural. His smile grew wider, more menacing, as his transformation began. His voice deepened and his eyes glowed with an eerie light. "I've been waiting for this moment," he hissed, his body beginning to tremble. Zuri stepped back, her hand gripping the charms in her pocket. She could see it happening now. The curse was taking over him. Arinze's manhood twisted and morphed, growing longer and thicker, turning into the venomous snake Zuri had been preparing to face. The snake coiled around him, hissing loudly, its fangs dripping with deadly poison. Arinze's skin became darker, more scaly. As the creature took control, his once handsome face twisted into something monstrous, something evil. Zuri's pulse quickened, but she didn't flinch. She had expected this. She was prepared. Arinze's voice was no longer smooth and charming. It was now low and sinister, filled with hunger. "Do you know what happens next?" he asked, his eyes gleaming. "You'll be like all the others, and by morning, you'll be gone." Zuri held her ground, her face set with determination. "I'm not like the others," she said softly, her voice steady. Arinze sneered, the snake on his body hissing violently. "We'll see about that." In one swift motion, the snake lunged toward Zuri, its fangs ready to strike. But Zuri was faster. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small charm, a glistening stone that pulsed with ancient magic. She raised it in front of her, muttering an incantation under her breath. The snake stopped in midair, recoiling as if it had hit an invisible wall. Arinze growled in frustration. "What is this?" Zuri's eyes met his, and for the first time, she saw fear in them. "It's the end for you," she said, her voice cold and unwavering. Arinze's body trembled as the snake around him thrashed wildly, trying to attack, but it couldn't get any closer to Zuri. The charms she carried were too strong, too powerful. Zuri began to chant louder, her words filling the room with an ancient power that made the walls shake. Arinze screamed in rage, but Zuri didn't stop. She pressed forward, forcing him back, her magic weakening the curse that had kept him powerful for so long. For the first time in his life, Arinze felt powerless. The snake hissed and writhed, but it could do nothing to stop her. As the night deepened, Zuri realized that this was only the beginning of their deadly game. Arinze was wounded but not yet defeated. He still had tricks up his sleeve, and the battle was far from over. The air crackled with tension as Zuri faced Arinze, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and adrenaline. She had prepared for this moment, but now that it was here, she felt the weight of the ancient magic in her hands. The snake hissed and twisted, but Zuri held her ground, determined to confront the monster that had caused so much pain. "Do you really think you can defeat me?" Arinze snarled, his voice a low growl. The snake coiled around him, its scales glistening in the dim light of the room, looking as terrifying as its master. "You are just a foolish girl. You have no idea what you're up against." Zuri tightened her grip on the charm, feeling its warmth radiate through her fingers. "I know exactly what I'm up against," she replied confidently. "You're just a coward hiding behind a curse. I've spent years preparing for this moment." Arinze's eyes darkened, and for a moment Zuri thought she saw a flicker of doubt in his gaze. But then his laughter filled the room, cruel and mocking. "You think you can break the curse? You have no idea how strong I am. Each woman I've sacrificed has made me invincible. I am eternal." Zuri took a step forward, refusing to back down. "But every soul you've taken is a chain around your neck, pulling you down. You're not invincible. You're trapped in your own darkness. And tonight, I will free those souls, starting with you." The snake lunged forward again, fangs bared. But Zuri raised her charm, calling on its magic. A bright light erupted from the stone, forming a barrier between her and the snake. It recoiled, hissing angrily, but Zuri felt the energy surge through her, feeding her determination. "You've taken so many innocent lives," she shouted, her voice ringing with power, "but tonight you will pay for your sins." The room shook with the force of her words, and Arinze's expression shifted from confidence to panic. "You can't do this. You're just a girl," he spat, desperation creeping into his voice. "I'm not just a girl," Zuri said fiercely. "I'm the sister of one of your victims. I've come to end your reign of terror once and for all." Arinze's face paled at her revelation, and for the first time, Zuri saw fear reflected in his eyes. She pressed on, channeling her energy into the charm. "I am here to set their souls free. I will break the curse that binds you." With a surge of determination, Zuri began to chant a powerful incantation passed down through her family for generations. The room filled with a bright light, and the walls trembled as if the house itself were alive, responding to the magic she unleashed. The snake writhed in agony, the curse that had granted Arinze power beginning to unravel. "No!" Arinze screamed, his voice cracking as he struggled against the force of Zuri's magic. "You can't take this from me." "Well, but Zuri didn't relent. You're wrong. It's time for you to feel the pain you've caused." As she spoke the final words of her spell, the light exploded, illuminating the entire room in a brilliant flash. Arinze was thrown back, crashing against the wall, the snake rearing up and hissing furiously. The air was thick with energy, and Zuri felt the spirits of the women he had sacrificed stirring around her, their voices rising in a chorus of fury and hope. In that moment, Zuri saw glimpses of the women's lives, their joy, their dreams, all cut short by Arinze's evil. Their pain fueled her determination, and she focused on the light, calling for their strength to guide her. Arinze groaned in agony as the energy surged through him, the darkness within him fighting to maintain its hold. "You think you can destroy me?" he gasped, struggling to get back to his feet. "I won't let you." But Zuri knew this was her chance. She took a deep breath, gathering every ounce of her strength and the spirit's energy. "You may have taken their lives, but you will not take mine." She directed the magic at Arinze, the light growing brighter and more intense. Suddenly, the snake lunged at her again, but this time Zuri was ready. With a swift motion, she threw the charm toward the creature, and it exploded into a shower of sparkles, blinding the snake and causing it to recoil in fear. The light filled the room, pushing the darkness back, and Zuri felt a surge of hope. "Now, it's time to end this," she declared, her voice strong and unwavering. The snake began to shrink, its scales fading as the curse lost its grip on Arinze. The room shook with the power of Zuri's magic, and for the first time, she felt in control.